He looked at me and he was like
Now we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand.
Hello.
what's up?
So I posted on the community page a couple days ago asking kind of what y'all wanted to see this week because we are mostly in limbo. Tractor broke.
Waiting on tractor parts to come from Illinois.
Won't stop raining.
Yep, it's about to rain here in probably about 20 minutes or so.
I think we really want to...
Jesus Christ. That was close.
We were broke, then we weren't broke, and then we bought a whole bunch of stuff, now we're broke again. So we're just kind of hanging out. But as soon as the tractor's done, he'll be able to do the septic and then we'll be able to keep moving. Because of that, I didn't really have a video this week, so I kind of asked what y'all wanted to see, and the majority of y'all voted Q&A, so that's what we're doing. And I figured we'd start off with a pretty scene. I'm gonna make sure that y'all aren't bored this whole time, so I'll try to throw in a little footage here and there, and then we'll also change up the background and walk around the property a little bit. Okay, so I guess, how old are we? Are we married? How long have we been together? What do we do for jobs? Where do we live? I'm 23.
I'm 27.
We are not married. We've been together for almost 4 years, and we live with his mom while we're building. So, yeah.
Yep.
Let's change up the location. This is probably like the #1 asked question, which is, what are we gonna do when we have kids? So this house is intended to be a mother-in-law suite. We actually purchased 2 lots, so we will eventually be able to build a second home on the other lot, hopefully a bigger home per se. But yeah, so this is supposed to be a mother-in-law suite. That's why it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom. We want it to be kind of like a vacation style home. That way if my parents want to come, or any of my family want to come and stay, or any of his family want to come and stay, or friends from out of town, you know, we both have family that are in Texas. So having a place for all of them to come and sleep here would be nice. So that's eventually its goal, but right now it will be a place for us to live while we are doing other things to improve the property, and then eventually building a bigger home.
As far as the type of house we're gonna go with our next house, we're not gonna say, because we don't want the neighbors to try to add it into the restrictions and try and stop us from building that house too. So I guess you'll just have to stay tuned and find out.
So what are we gonna do after the house is built? Because we're quickly approaching moving in.
I mean, we're always gonna have stuff to do. We still have to build a deck on the outside. We're still building a storage building. I would like to build a bar in the middle of the woods at some point.
Yeah, he wants to do that. There's this big swing contraption thing that I have envisioned in my brain, and I will make it happen in the middle of the woods. We want to put a zip line out here.
I was going to say, we have a pretty big elevation drop from the top of the property to the bottom, and zip line kits aren't that much, so yeah. I definitely want to get a zip line.
I want to refinish our camper. We also travel a lot, so we'll post more, or not right now because we're building, but we'll post more of that.
And I'm just kind of a builder by, I don't know, habit, life,
he
whatever.
Can't sit still.
I can't sit still, so I'm always building something.
He always has projects.
Yeah, I always have a project to do, so we'll always have something to show you.
We also have Jeeps, so the reason we like this property specifically is that way we can make Jeep trails on it, so we'll do a lot more of that too once, you know, the house is done. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, we also want to have a garden, so I want to have a greenhouse.
I bought an apple tree this week, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and yeah, we'd love to have a greenhouse, and for sure we will have, you know, chickens, goats, animals, galore. That's a top priority for me, so that'll happen pretty significantly. Cody wants a donkey. Dead set on a donkey.
Oh, I'm getting a donkey.
We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. Hopefully sooner rather than later. So right now we're probably at like the lowest elevation point at our property.
Smell that.
Smells like garlic.
I'm pretty sure that is garlic. Look, I just smashed it up and look at all the little cloves.
Oh my gosh. Cody, do not tell me we have fresh garlic. I will literally...
See all the little...
Y'all, my life has just been changed forever. I already knew we had onions, and I was very excited about that, but garlic? garlic. I'm gonna eat it. That tastes oniony.
I mean, it's still small.
I don't know. We'll see. So, biggest obstacle. What would you say? I would say what we're doing right now, which is the lagoon. It's probably been our biggest obstacle just because of how big it is.
Yeah, how big it is compared to how small our tractor is, and it's definitely been the most time consuming. And it's also difficult because you kind of have to, you don't want the soil to be completely dry, because then it's not going to mush together and it's not going to be able to form a seal and be able to do what it's intended to do, is be, you know, a water reservoir basically. So you got to have the dirt at least a little bit wet, but then also it can't be too wet, because then the tractor won't move. It just spins the tires and won't get anywhere. So
yeah,
it's definitely been probably the most difficult so far, I'd say.
Especially when it rains literally all the time here.
Yeah.
Let me change the battery. I figured we'd come to the infamous bonfire to talk about the neighbors. But I don't know, man. They're minding their own business, I guess, finally.
Yeah, Ted still kind of acts like a child sometimes. But...
What did he do at the dumpster today?
Oh, when I drove past him today.
He was like,
yeah, I don't even know what he was doing, but like he looked at me and he was like, like
what does that even mean? What does that even mean?
I don't know.
So, but other than that, it's fine. I mean, the lady who handles the trash, she's been nice, I guess. One of them waved at me today when I was driving through, so that was nice. But for the most part, we just try to keep to ourselves. They all got dash cams now, which I think is really funny. Yeah, we've noticed
driving through the neighborhood, every car, almost every car, you can see their cell phone like mounted on the dash with their camera facing in front of them. So
yeah, and then they always pull out their phones as soon as we drive by, like we're gonna do something or if we're walking. But I don't know, we keep to ourselves. So yeah, that answers that.
That's about it.
For how much freaking rain that we've gotten, there ain't nothing in this creek. What made us decide to come out here and want to build a container house? There were a few reasons. We wanted to get out of our house in Texas. We loved our house, we remodeled our house, but it just wasn't for us.
Yeah, we wanted to get out of the city.
Yeah, that was the biggest part. I wanted to get somewhere safer, LOL. And then Cody's job wanted to move him at the same time, so then that worked out. And then the market was wonderful, so being able to sell my own house was great. So we made a good return on it, which allowed us to be able to afford to come out here. So everything just kind of aligned all at once. And then containers, that's your department. That was not my decision.
I mean, I don't know.
He likes to challenge himself, and we wanted something quick. Is that?
Yeah, with containers, I guess the biggest appeal for us to containers was them already being, you know, dried in. You don't have to...
For the most part.
Yeah, they're structural.
Well,
in the house.
In the house. So I think we're done for today.
You can set them on the ground whenever you get them. They don't have to be put right on a foundation. So we were able to get one here immediately to be able to put our stuff in. And
that was the biggest help, moving states away, and you know, being two 20-something-year-olds, it's quite expensive to move. So being able to have somewhere to store all of our stuff meant that he could make multiple trips throughout, which was a big help.
Other than that, I don't know.
I don't know, it was just kind of...
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. He said, what about a container house? And I was like,
yeah, we honestly just kind of thought about it.
Yeah.
And then once the neighbors were so against
yeah, so
it,
we had actually decided, we had looked into several other ways to build this house.
Yeah, I had like 3 different floor plans for if we were going to do a stick frame, if we were going to do a container house, if, you know, whatever.
Yeah, so, and then because they were so against it, we were just like, no, it's meant to be, we have to push for it. And so we just became determined, and we ended up succeeding. So yeah, they ended up screwing themselves because we weren't going to do that, and then we ended up doing it. So yeah, it's kind of funny. That's his tree.
Yeah, there's my apple tree.
Can you see it? That's one.
Can you see it? Kind of.
Okay. Plans for the outside of the containers. Number 1, I'm gonna paint it blue.
For the time being.
For the time being. But yeah, I really want to paint it blue. Like a deep midnight blue.
We'll eventually side it. It'll give it kind of a log cabin look, which is what we eventually want to go for. Two, it'll also help keep the sun off the metal on the container a little bit more, so it'll even further help insulate the house a little bit. And three, we have a sawmill, so it doesn't cost anything, except a couple gallons of gas and some, time.
Somebody asked if we were just gonna have a normal deck or wraparound porch, and I'm dead set on a wraparound porch. I've always wanted a wraparound porch. So
again, sawmill, so
yeah, just takes time. Is he going to enclose it?
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have the bottom enclosed before winter. Just not completely decided on what we're gonna do or how we're gonna do it yet. We've tossed around a couple ideas between using the steel from the walls that we cut out from the containers, or maybe using brick.
Some of the neighbors have cinder block, we've seen, so I don't really
and
like that idea.
At the end of the day,
you can't
you're not
do
going to
that.
be able to see it a whole lot because the deck will kind of hide it for the most part. But we still don't want to just use like plain cinder blocks and it look crappy where you can see it. So
we've tossed around a couple options, and we will for sure insulate it. That's also really important to us.
Yeah.
And then in terms of having like an awning or anything like that, we'll have an awning probably stretch as far as the porch or...
the porch will be covered.
People have asked if we are going to do anything with the rooftop, turn it into like a rooftop deck. We've toyed around with a couple ideas, but...
I think at this point, it's mostly probably going to end up being just real estate for solar panels because it's really the only area that gets enough sunlight throughout the day.
This is complete forest.
Yeah, we're literally in the middle of the woods, so
this is the only cleared path.
Yeah, and the only reason that we cleared this path around the house was to make sure, well, the majority of these trees are, I don't know, 60 feet tall, 80 feet tall, my best guess. They're pretty tall. So we don't want, a tree to end up falling on the house at any point in any big storms or anything like that. So I wanted to clear a decent radius around the house to make sure the house was protected. But yeah, since we did all that, really the only area that gets a good amount of sunlight all throughout the day is the roof of the house. So we'll end up just having a bunch of solar panels up there, so that'll give us power and also keep sun off the roof and help keep the heat out of the house a little bit.
And we'll eventually fence in this entire area, like including our pond all the way around. And we'll do that specifically for our dogs. So it's like our next big project after we are in the house and the lagoon is done. Then in terms of fencing in, like finish fencing in the rest of the property, as far as the rest of the acreage and barbed wire, we have all the materials for that. It's just very hard to do when we can't get a tractor back there and the forest being dense. So that takes a lot of time.
We got a lot of fencing done right before spring really hit, along one property line, that section over there.
And then there's a part of the property in the back that's already fenced in from somebody else, so we don't even have to worry about that. We have a few more areas that we want to hit that are priorities, so when we start fencing in this, we'll also send the boys over there to fence in that.
But with how bad the ticks and the spiders and all that it's really a winter project because
bad.
And the leaves and the growth and everything. It's really the only time you can get to where you need to put the fence and where you don't have to worry about pulling 10 ticks off you.
Yeah, we're probably about two weeks into summer per se, and you should see the amount of bites that I have on my body. Like, it's insane.
I've definitely got some spider bites, but no tick bites yet, luckily.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I tried to hit as many of the frequent ones as I could see on Instagram and on the community, and on the community page. But if you have any other questions, always feel free to leave them in the comments. We're really awkward when we have to talk in front of the camera like this, so sorry if this is very cringe, but we're more of let's just get to work kind of people, so this is hard. But if you have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and maybe we'll do another one of these. But yeah, bye.